All right, I want to take you now to the mother city where delegates to Africa's Oil and Power Conference have discussed the crucial role played by the energy sector in growth and development. The conference, which is a gathering of industry experts and government delegations from African countries, wraps up in Cape Town today. Our reporter Mariska Botha is covering the conference for us. A very good morning to Mariska. Look, we're talking about greater investment into this energy sector. And when we're talking about the energy sector in it's a multi-trillion-dollar sector, but Africa has, I guess, a very small share of that. What are some of the main takeaways from this conference?
You are absolutely right, Blaine. That is $1.5 trillion that was spent last year in terms of investment, and the share that Africa got of that is minuscule. It's in the region of 2%. And that's exactly what this conference aims to do, is to bring key role players from across the continent and further afield together to talk about investment. Because the overarching message we've been getting here throughout the past 2 days and today still is that Africa has wonderful resources. It is well endowed with major finds of oil, gas, and everything that is needed to build a strong energy sector, but there simply isn't investment in the continent to do so. And the major lack that African countries have is in terms of its infrastructure. We spoke a little bit earlier to Nhlanhla Gumede from Petro SA, who says that the infrastructure for gas is particularly difficult to put in place. And if there's not a major find of gas to satisfy the demand for it, if there is one, that infrastructure will not be built. So the only solution to this would seemingly be for African countries to combine their efforts and to work together to build, for example, a major gas sector, which doesn't exist at the moment. He told us a little bit about the find in Mozambique, also in Botswana there's coal to gas, and also in Namibia there's gas. And to create a corridor of some sorts would make sense to extract first of all the gas and be able to distribute that gas where the markets exist. But to do that there has to be major finds, and if African countries combine what they find, there is a potential to establish great, for example, gas sectors across the continent. But to do that there has to be appetite from a political perspective. Countries need to work together to establish relationships according to that, so that it's beneficial to everyone. We've heard from Senegal as well, where there have been major oil finds recently and also gas finds, and we spoke to some of their experts of their country telling us that there is negotiations going on at the moment with its neighboring countries to help them develop what they have. The first price, of course, is oil, and according to Nhlanhla Gumede, oil is easy to extract, to transport, but gas is much more trickier and much more difficult to work with. So in order to build the infrastructure to work with that, African countries do need to work together, and it seems like it is moving in that direction. African countries understanding that to utilize those finds that do exist, they will have to work together to build partnerships to best serve the markets that are out there. But without infrastructure, as I said, it will go nowhere.
Mariska, you did some reporting yesterday with regards to an address by Minister Gwede Mantashe, and he says that government is in favor of this mix of energy sources to meet the growing demand in this country, correct?
That's absolutely correct, yes. He also said that because Africa is endowed with fossil fuels, for example, like oil and coal, it is not fair to expect African countries to all of a sudden abruptly stop using them because they are there. But he says South Africa is not in two minds about global warming and the impact of climate change. They understand that. So moving to cleaner energy and the production of cleaner energy is definitely something that government wants to work on, but this will take time. We've also heard from Equatorial Guinea, who said they also expressed it as being unfair to expect Africa not to use those fossil finds that they do have to develop and to build their economies and grow them. But rightly, as you said, Gwede Mantashe is saying that a mix of energy is definitely the future for Africa, understanding that climate change is a reality and moving towards investing in cleaner technologies to use the resources that we do have.
Scott, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Mariska Botha coming to us live from Cape Town.